Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So, welcome. I've missed everyone. I know everyone's excited to cook. I've been cooking a lot, but just for my little family. And I wanted to share some, I'm not sure, Kathleen, if you want to mute for me, or does Aaliyah need to mute for me?
Hi. Okay.
If I mute your voice.
Okay. So, Kathleen, I'm not sure if you want to mute so that when I'm talking, I won't be able to hear this.
Do that. Okay. Oops. Sorry, it's taking me a minute.
Okay, I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that.
Okay. Debbie, can I hear you now? You have to unmute her. Okay. There we go. Unmute. Okay.
All right, now we're good? Okay, good. I can hear myself talking. All right. Welcome, everyone. I've missed everyone. I know it's been really trying to stay at home. Hopefully, you've been using this time to do some more cooking and home skills with your family. I wanted to share some basic skills with pantry items or things that you might have that you've been buying staples at home. So I picked hash browns and bacon, which I usually have right here cooked, so you can see the demo of what we're gonna make. See that? Looks good. Hopefully it comes out just like this. And you can choose to cook with me, or you can choose to just watch and try it later. The library is recording this, so later on they'll send you instructions on how you can find the recording, whether it's on the library website or the Facebook or Zoom, whatever they decide to do. And I want to thank the library for sponsoring this, because they know how much everyone misses the library as well. All right, so what we're going to start off with is that we're going to start off with the bacon, because the bacon can be cooking while we're making the hash browns. So if you have an oven at home, which I'm sure everybody does, let the oven do the cooking for you. It is this tiny little oven right here next to me. It's not my big oven, but I'm cooking here in my dining area so that we have better lighting and so that you can see what's actually going on. It's hard for you to see while we're filming over a stove. It'll just be a shadow. So first you're gonna put the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Let it pre-warm. While I'm talking, I'm going to show you what we're going to do and how the bacon is going to cook itself in the oven while you make your hash browns. So, back this way. What I asked on your ingredients list was for parchment paper. This is parchment paper. It can be any brand. This happens to be a BJ's brand. You're going to take the parchment paper, and then you have your baking pan. Now, if your baking pan has a tall side on it, it's not the best baking pan to use. You need more like a cookie sheet, because the air needs to go around and underneath the bacon to evenly cook it, okay? So you're gonna take your parchment paper and you're gonna take a piece out, you're gonna cut it. I kind of pre-marked mine just to make it easier. And you wanna cover the whole pan, but you don't want it to leave it like this sticking out, okay? So we're gonna measure it, the inside, and we're going to cut it. Now you don't want it too small either, because you want as much surface area on the pan as possible. All right, so that's pretty good, and you see how that is? Now remember, if you don't have parchment paper, you probably want to wait to do this, because the bacon will burn. If you have wax paper, you don't want to use wax paper, because wax paper is not the same as parchment paper. Wax paper will melt, and then the wax that's on it will melt on your bacon. Not good, okay? So parchment paper is good to have, because we use it for cookies and cakes and all kind of things, okay?
Jen can't get in.
Kathleen, I'm not sure if you can hear, but I believe Jen Armbruster can't get in, so maybe check on that for me, please. All right, so meanwhile, we have the bacon here. I have cut my bacon strips into half pieces because I'm using a mini oven. If you have a larger tray, you can do your whole strips like this. I took my pieces and I already cut them in half, and you're gonna lay them here flat, okay? You don't wanna overlap them like this. They need to be spaced out, and they can be long. I just made 4, for example, and I'm putting them out like this, okay? So they're not overlapping, they're not like all crumbled. This way they cook nice and evenly, okay? So, that away. All right, so there's our 4 pieces. My oven's pre-warmed. Hopefully yours is too. 400 degrees. I timed mine already for 12 minutes, but depending on how done you like your bacon, some people like it more crispy, almost to the burnt point of burnt. That's not me. So start off with 12 minutes, and then you can decide if you need to go a little longer. Remember, the oven's warm. Put this in. Actually, I turn it around to bake a little better. This side. That. And we're going to close it. Set a timer. 12 minutes. Right here. All right. I'm not sure if I put on my equipment list, I put a baking rack or a cooling rack so that when it comes out, you have somewhere to put it on. Some people may have something else like a stone or something. Just want to make sure you protect the table when it comes out, okay? So doing that, we're going to move over here, do this, and we're going to move this way. All right, going to give some room for the cooking, okay? So coming this way, we have several things. We have salt and pepper. We have onion powder if you're a fan of that. I'm going to be cooking on a portable induction cooker. You can use your regular stovetop. I'm only using this because I'm in the middle of the dining area and it's easier to film, okay? So what we're going to do first is that we're going to grate our potatoes, which is going to be on this side over here. And then we're also, before we get started, let's go ahead and put our pan, your saute pan, on low. So I'm putting mine on. It's a little bit of noise, so hopefully not too loud. So we're gonna just put that on low, just so your pan starts to warm. We're not putting any oil in or nothing, just your pan on low, okay? All right, so we come this way. Now, does everyone have their potato peeled already? See, on mute. Does Kathleen answer? All right. Hopefully everybody, yes, does everybody have their potato peeled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, let me know. I can give you some time or I can peel another one.
Yes.
Okay, good. So it sounds like everybody has their potato peeled. All right. Now, a potato has so many possibilities. But today, this potato's fate is hash brown. This is an Idaho potato or a russet potato. And water content's a lot less and it gives a lot crispier taste, okay? So I'm gonna go with that, an Idaho or russet potato. Mine is in here. So let's say you're gonna do this for Mother's Day this weekend and you wanna get ahead of the game. You can peel your potato the night before, come this way, and you can keep it in water. It has to be fully submerged into water and you cover it and keep it in the refrigerator so that when you wanna get up and make this in the morning, you just have your potato ready to go. The potato will oxidize really fast and you're gonna see. So take a plate, take your cheese grater, and I have mine marked here for the side that we use, which is this color here, right there. So remember your pan's on low, so be careful to touch it. Cut your potato. I square off the end here and make it flat so that you start off with a nice flat surface, okay? Now, the grater is your friend, but it's very, very sharp, so it can hurt you. Please be careful. Make sure you have your hand here, potato flat. As you start to grate, it's gonna start angling the potato, so you're gonna keep turning the potato around, okay? You don't wanna go like little bitty pieces. You want some nice long strokes because you wanna get like straw, okay? So you're gonna go down, lift up, down, lift up. Watch your fingers, go slow. And then you're gonna turn your potato down, down, and you just keep going, okay? If you do this, you're gonna make a lot of potato starch and we don't want that. A long stroke, takes a little bit of muscle. And see how it starts to angle? I'm gonna turn my potato around. Going. Turn it around. And if you get scared, I'm scared, okay? It's all right. Turning it. And if it gets so close to the end and you wanna stop, you can. Turn it. Be careful. Turn your potato. A little warm. It's like potatoes, see? Yeah. Keep going. I hear a noise. Check the bacon. Leah's going to show you the bacon over there. Bacon's cooking. Good. All right. Okay. Piece and throwing that away. All right. That should be plenty. Watch your fingers. Take this. And then you can put it on another plate. And get rid of that for a while. All right. Now, these potatoes nice and white. In just a little bit, it's going to start to oxidize. So you take a piece of paper towel and just keep it next to you because you might need it for your hands, okay? All right. So you have the bowl. You bring near you. And this is your potato. Because it has so much surface area, it's going to start to oxidize really fast. It's also very wet. Okay? So put a paper towel on it for just a second. All right. Now our pan is hot or warm, and you're going to take your cooking oil. You can use olive oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, and I have a fourth of a cup. You're going to pour it into your pan. Brown the bacon there, and it's going to keep warming up, okay? Now, we're going to leave it in there until we get all the water out of the hash browns, okay? That is what your bowl is for, is you're going to squeeze it. So, hopefully you've already washed your hands because we've all been doing that really well. And you're going to divide this into half. Because this should make 2 of them. We're only going to make 1 at a time, okay? That's half. See how it's starting to oxidize? Okay, so you take half. And take first, you're gonna take a piece of paper towel onto a piece of plate right here. And we're gonna take this into the bowl and we're gonna squeeze. You see that water coming out of that? And you're gonna squeeze it. You might lose a little bit, you pick it up again, and you squeeze. Once you finish squeezing, you're gonna put it right here on your paper towel on your plate. Now take your other half with a bowl and squeeze. Take as much water out as possible. If you want your hash browns to be crispy, you gotta get that water out, okay? Because water and grease don't mix very well. All right. Okay, done with that. Away, wipe my hands. Area. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to take the potatoes and we're going to turn our heat up to medium. Okay. Okay. Now, some people don't like onion powder. I like a little onion powder myself. So that's optional. Okay. Now, do you think that we should season these before? No, because salt extracts water out. We just got the water out of our potato. There'll be plenty of time to season our hash brown, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see, but in the pan, the oil is starting to shimmer or like wave a little bit, okay? That means it's getting up to the temperature that we want it to. Now, you say, how do I know when it's ready? How do I know it's too hot? You don't want it smoking. You just want it kind of medium hot. And you're gonna do what I call in my class the veggie test. I take a little piece of potato, I just barely touch the tip of it in there. And do you see it? It's not making a sound. It's not foaming. It's not going sizzle, nothing. So that tells you it's not ready, okay? So we're gonna wait. Putting it in now will only just make a mess, okay? At this time, before we get our bacon out in just a minute, does anybody have any questions?
Okay, we're unmuted.
Okay, anybody have questions so far?
Oh, that'll be unmuted. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try that again.
Do you have
Okay.
any questions? Are you good?
Anybody have any questions?
I'll help you.
It's already
No
boiling.
questions. Your oil is boiling already?
Yeah.
Turn it. Remember what Mrs. Rizzo says. You manage the heat. Don't let the heat manage you. Okay?
I like that.
Bring it down. All right? You know the rules. That sounds like what the students. You remember Mrs. Rizzo? Don't let the heat manage you.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
mute
Oil
again.
looks like it's going up. Yes, can you see that? All right, we're ready on my end. So now what I'm gonna do, remember this might splatter a little bit, so be careful. I'm gonna take one of my pile of potatoes, right in the middle, sprinkle them in. Take your spatula, the one that doesn't melt, make sure it's a silicone, and you're gonna spread it out. Now you want it a nice thin layer, but you want it to kind of stay connected. You see, I'm just kind of pushing it down, but I'm keeping it together on the ends. Press it in. You want it to be even because then it cooks even. And that's with everything we make, all right? And it's gotta be consistent. And you see how it's like a little patty? But it's all evened out, like straw, all right? Okay, now I can add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of onion powder, because I like that. Now I learned to use the onion powder on this because my daughter doesn't really like to eat onions, but she does like the flavor of onions. Now you see how I'm taking the silicone spatula and I'm going around the edges and bringing it in. Okay? Now we can't rush it because if you rush it, it's gonna be a soggy mess. You'll know because it'll come off real easily. So I always check the edges like this, and it's not ready.
Mine's already crispy.
The whole thing?
No. Kind of.
That's really amazing. I don't think it's gonna be ready, okay? You should be than yours because mine's on an induction cooker. So at some point I may lower mine because mine's probably a lot higher than it is at your house, okay? So that's cooking. I got bacon popping over here, so I'm gonna keep it that go. We're almost ready. I'm gonna take a look with my nice cute little emoji things. Mine almost looks ready. I don't like my bacon super crispy, so I'm gonna take it out and take a look at it for a second. Oh yeah, I think it's good. Okay, I'm taking mine out. And I'm gonna show right there, and then I'm gonna get a plate with a paper towel. I'm keeping an eye on my potatoes here, my hash browns. Paper. This. So the grease drains on the paper towel. Good. All right. That looks good. Perfect. Our bacon ready. Now let's take a look at our potatoes. All right. Now watch my little spatula. You see how it's going underneath it? And it's picking it up. It's moving. Now, has anybody flipped theirs over? Hopefully no. Now, put our timer just in time. Now I'm gonna show you how to flip it over. You're gonna take your pancake spatula, go underneath it. It should just slowly release itself. If it doesn't come off your pan, it may not be ready. So, and that, putting on there. Mine's gonna fall apart, but and we're gonna flip it over. Like that. Okay. A little blow out in the middle of mine, but it's okay. So you see it's nice and crispy? Now some people like the same thing with their bacon as they do their hash browns. Some people like it really crispy. I like mine a little moist, but crispy on the edges. Okay, give it a couple more minutes. And we're gonna put a little bit of salt on that side, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of onion powder. Now while that's almost ready, we're gonna get our plate with another paper towel because we want the potatoes to drain as well, okay? So here. That looks good. And I'm gonna transfer over. Starts to slide too much, just get this on here. Flip it. And there. Now, before you add too much salt or pepper, you always can taste it and see. If there's any little bits left, try to kind of get those out on your paper towel so your oil doesn't burn and you can make your second. Okay? All right. Time for another one. Okay, we're going to do our second one. Now, you want to do as consistent as the first one. So the first thing we're going to do is the same thing. Check your oil. It's still good? Yes, it's still making the sizzle and do it. The veggie test. I take our potato. Still feels very dry. Just in case you think some moisture has escaped your potato, you could give it another squeeze. I think we're good. Like as much potato as possible. I'm going to go right in the center again. Okay. All right. Spread it out, but keep it together because mine went a little bit too far and I had a little blowout. You want to kind of keep a little nest together, okay? But thin enough where it cooks evenly. Potato, good. All right. Now again, if you happen to burn your first one, you want to lower your heat. Learn from your mistake, okay? Live TV, it happens. All right, well, I'm waiting for this to cook. We have our bacon ready. My salt, my pepper, and my little onion powder. Any questions right now while we're waiting for this to cook? Anybody? Any questions?
No question. Russ.
Is it? Did the first one come out pretty good?
Yeah. Nice and crispy.
Nice and crispy. And why? And, you know, it came out crispy because we got all that water out of it. So you did a really good job. Crispy.
Yeah, it is. That's
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it been eaten already? Is it eaten already?
I started eating mine.
Is it yummy?
Yep.
Great. Good. Now remember, consistency is always seems to be the problem. It's like when we make pancakes, the first one always comes out good, and we get, you know, too confident and we burn the second one on one side. So let's make sure our second one comes out the same. Sometimes Mrs. Rizzo always tries to tell you that it's not so much what you're cooking, it's how you're cooking it. Consistency matters, okay? So just like I'm doing before, I'm putting my silicone spatula underneath it to see how it's doing. So take care of it. You don't want to walk away from it, okay?
You might have missed a few words. You were muted for the first part or something.
Oh, it was? Okay.
So, might have missed a few
All right,
things.
so keep checking underneath it like this, the silicone spatula, but don't move it or try to pull it apart because it'll break. Mine broke a little bit earlier, okay? So consistency matters. Now, just like we had the potato in water, because I left it there overnight when I peeled it, you might want to say like, well, why can't I just grate it, put it all in water for the next day? Bad idea, because potato gratings will have more surface area and they will absorb more of the water that you're soaking them in, and you're not going to get a crispy potato. So the most you can do ahead of time is just peel your potato and keep it in the water. Now mine's getting crispy. Now you see it moving? See how it's moving? Real easy. That means I have a better chance of flipping it without breaking it this time, okay? So let's try that. I'm gonna get my pancake flipper. I'm gonna go underneath it, push it on there. Now, go up, hold this, and then go over. Yes, look at that. Looks good. So yummy. Now, if you want to take it to the next step, you're going to try it like at home, not now, but maybe when you make them on Mother's Day, you could even pop an egg right here in the middle of this and let the egg go through the hash brown and make basically almost like a bird's nest, okay? So, or you can scramble the egg and do it, but I prefer to put the whole egg on top of here, pop it, and then let it go through that, and it cooks, and you can have egg with your potato, almost like a frittata, okay? So, this looks good. The other side cooks a lot faster, so you have a little bit more. All right. Okay, so mine's almost ready. We're gonna do the transfer. It starts to slide off. Remember, use your silicone spatula. Put it on there. Flip it a little bit. And then we're going to transfer over to the paper plate, the paper towel on your plate, okay? I turn my stove off. It burns. Hot. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, before I season some more, I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste. I need a little bit more salt. A little pepper. And a little onion powder. Perfect. Look that cool. All right, so you can see back this way, we have to transfer this one over. Some people like sour cream on it. Some people like sauce on it. You can do different things with that, okay? Now, your oil will eventually get a little pieces of potato in it. So every so often, I would say about every 2 or 3, you have to add more oil, or you have to drain your oil through a strainer to keep your oil from getting burnt pieces of potato in it, okay? So hopefully this has been very helpful. If you have any questions, let me hear. I'd be glad to answer any questions, and let me know how it went, okay?
That's good.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Wait, are we done? I think it's done. Check it.
That was quick. It's quicker than class because you don't have to clean up.
Okay, move that, I'm gonna put it
Any
up,
questions?
Katie, I'm gonna set it on the stove, move the spatula and move the plate.
Yes, it's a little tricky when you're trying to operate like a family's trying to cook, because you want to make sure that nobody gets burnt. Oil is very dangerous, okay? Like I said, the library is recording, so just in case you want to rewatch it for reference or ingredients, you can do that. Any questions?
I have a question.
Very good, Jack.
I want to hear the question.
Can you cook bacon on aluminum foil?
Can you cook the bacon on aluminum foil? What happens is the aluminum foil acts as a conductor, and it will burn your bacon probably faster in some areas than it will parchment paper. So it also can stick to the aluminum foil, and then you can't get the bacon off the aluminum foil. So parchment paper, if you're gonna cook in the oven, is the best thing to cook it on.
Yeah, it's ready, but I can't flip it.
And the bacon or the hash brown? Do we have any disasters? Is what Mrs. Rizzo wants to know.
No, everything came out good.
Good, success stories is what I want to hear. Okay. And it may take a couple of tries, but I'm sure everybody has potatoes, and we all have a lot of time on our hands. So if there's some, things you can troubleshoot for next time, you'll be able to tell where you went wrong or where you did good. You did good, do it the same way. And everybody's cooktop is different. Some people have electric, some have gas. I'm working on a magnetic, induction cooker, so mine's a little different as well. And everybody's oven's different. But if you use parchment paper, never go above 400 degrees because it will burn the parchment paper. Okay, so that's another trick to know. But parchment paper is important to have because you can use it for when we bake cookies. Next week when we do biscuits, we'll be using parchment paper as well. So next Wednesday at 3, we'll be doing biscuits.
Oh, yum.
I'm gonna do scones, but it requires buttermilk, and I don't know how many people just happen to have buttermilk in the quarantine in their house. So I'm gonna go with biscuits and hoping that everybody has the basics like flour, bacon, soda, butter, milk. So I'm trying to pick things that people kind of have that you don't have to go out and find, obviously, once you stay home. And then we are also doing, for the whole month of May, Wednesdays at 3, we'll be doing a quick chicken noodle soup. And we will also be doing rice pilaf in the oven. And while the rice cooks in the oven, I'll be showing you how to make stir-fried rice, probably chicken stir-fried rice in a wok. Okay? So hopefully that's interesting to anybody. And share some of these skills with everybody. All right. Any other questions?
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
This is my first time, so hopefully it went well and I didn't go too fast and it was, enough time for you to accomplish your goal of making hash browns and bacon. All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, and thanks everyone.
Thank you, Debbie.
Bye, Debbie.
Easy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
What do you do with bacon? Eat it.
You can eat it now.